Every maid who entered this mansion was warned about one man, but nobody knew the woman arriving tonight would become the reason he changed forever. This wasn't an ordinary mansion. It belonged to Seoul's most feared Mafia family. But even among criminals, one name terrified the servants most. Joon Park was the family's golden heir, rich, powerful, and untouchable.
Yes, sir.
He had everything a man could
Sorry,
want,
sir.
except a heart capable of love. Inside the mansion, everyone knew the rule: never disappoint Joon, because one tiny mistake could turn an ordinary workday into a nightmare. Then, one evening, a crystal glass slipped from a maid's trembling hands. She didn't know it yet, but that tiny mistake was about to change everything. Joon stared at the broken glass as though it were a personal insult. The maid begged for forgiveness, but Joon had never been interested in forgiveness. Minutes later, another maid walked out crying. Everyone watched in silence. They had learned the same painful lesson. Surviving Joon meant never challenging him. Behind closed doors, the servants whispered about him. But one elderly maid knew something strange. She whispered, "He wasn't always this cruel." Then she refused to explain why. One by one, workers disappeared from the mansion. Some resigned, others were fired, and nobody stayed long enough to discover what had made Joon so broken. Then Amara arrived from Ghana, carrying one suitcase and a simple dream: to start again. She didn't know she had just walked into the most dangerous house in Seoul. Before she even began working, an older maid warned her, "Stay away from Joon." But Amara asked the one question nobody expected: why? Then their eyes met. Every maid lowered her head when Joon appeared, but Amara didn't. And for the first time in years, Joon was the one who felt uncomfortable. Joon stepped closer and reminded her who owned the house. Amara listened quietly. Then she looked directly into his eyes and said something no servant had ever dared to say. Joon ordered her to clean the enormous library before midnight. It was an impossible task. He expected her to quit, but Amara simply picked up the cloth. Hours passed. Her hands hurt, her body grew tired, but Amara refused to stop. And from the shadows, Joon watched her. For the first time, he wasn't angry. He was curious. So Joon created another test. He deliberately ruined
Why are
the
you
floor
looking at
she
me
had
like
just
that?
cleaned. He expected anger.
No reason.
Instead, Amara looked at him and calmly cleaned it again. Joon couldn't understand her. "Why aren't you afraid of me?" he asked. Amara's answer hit harder than he expected. "Because I don't want to become like you." Joon walked away, pretending not to care, but her words followed him down the hallway. Like him. For the first time, he wondered if the monster everyone feared was actually who he wanted to become. Then Joon saw Amara helping a struggling worker. She wasn't seeking praise. She simply helped because someone needed her. And somehow, that kindness made him angry. Because kindness reminded Joon of the childhood he had buried. Before violence hardened him, there had been a frightened little boy who only wanted someone to protect him. Joon's cruelty wasn't born from strength. It was born from fear. His father had taught him one brutal lesson: show weakness, and someone will destroy you. So Joon stopped being weak, and slowly stopped being human. One night, Amara found Joon sitting alone in the garden. She could have walked away like everyone else. But instead, she sat beside him. "You know nothing about me," Joon warned her. Amara didn't argue. She simply said, "Maybe not. But unhappy people usually hurt others." And Joon had no answer. That night, Joon finally looked at the photograph he kept hidden. His mother had once told him he could become different from his father. Then she disappeared. Joon finally told Amara the truth. His mother had tried to protect him from his father's criminal world. Joon believed she failed. Amara reminded him, maybe she didn't. The next morning, something unbelievable happened. A maid struggled with a heavy tray. Joon didn't shout. He helped her, and the entire kitchen went silent. But someone else noticed Joon's transformation. His father. Chairman Park watched the security footage and asked one question: "Who changed my son?" While Joon was changing, danger was already moving toward Amara. A black car followed her through the streets of Seoul. She didn't know she was being watched. Inside the mansion, Chairman Park opened a secret file on Amara. Her photograph was inside. And after reading the final page, he gave an order that would put her life in danger. Unfortunately for him, Joon heard everything. For years, Joon had obeyed his father without question. But this time, he quietly said one word: "No." Joon walked into his father's office and refused the order. And that answer changed the future of the entire Park family. His father gave him a choice: the family empire or Amara. Joon looked at the man who had controlled his entire life. Then he realized something terrifying. He finally had to choose who he wanted to be. But Amara didn't want Joon destroyed because of her. So she packed her suitcase and prepared to leave. Joon finally dropped his pride. And for the first time, the feared Mafia heir admitted he was afraid. Then suddenly, the mansion went dark. Glass shattered, guards screaming, and armed men stormed the estate. But they weren't there for Joon. They were there for Amara.
Run, now!
Joon immediately stepped between Amara and the danger. The old Joon would have protected himself first. But that man was gone. Joon removed the family ring that represented everything his father had built. He dropped it onto the floor. And with that single decision, Joon walked away from the empire. By sunrise, Joon had lost his inheritance, his father's approval, and the future he'd been promised. But strangely, he had never felt freer. Months later, the mansion was unrecognizable. The servants no longer feared Joon. They trusted him. Amara hadn't changed Joon by forcing him. She simply showed him the man he could become. Everyone once believed Joon's greatest power was making people afraid. But Amara taught him something greater. Fear can control a person for a moment, but kindness can change a life forever. And if this story touched your heart, stay with us. Because sometimes the person who changes your life is the one you never expected to meet.